care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
And the Warriors are going to get a big win here at Crypto.com Arena. There's the horn. The Warriors win it 134-120, and they secure the tiebreaker with the Lakers, who are without Anthony Davis tonight.
Kevin Dana on the call last night right here on 95.7 The Game. Warriors 134, Los Angeles Lakers 120. You heard the man. No AD. That means no problem for the Golden State Warriors, and no big problem because that is a big presence that was missing for Los Angeles. But you know what? The Warriors are not going to feel bad. They needed a win. They got the win, and thus have the tiebreaker over the purple and gold of Los Angeles. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Pregame Show. Joe Spadoni. You got me for the next hour. And if you listen to the Morning Roast, I chime in now and then. I might have some thoughts from a different perspective on last night's game during the Morning Roast, but for this show, we keep it strictly dubs. And that was one of the greatest shooting performances I've ever seen from the Golden State Warriors. I mean, when you got Draymond Green starting off going 5 for 5, end of the night 5 of 7, but 5 for 5 for Draymond, that's just, hey, if he's hitting shots like that, you're winning. Now, is he going to be doing that all the time? Was his aggression due in part because there's no Anthony Davis? There's layers to it. But Andrew Wiggins, efficient, playing well both offensively and defensively, hounding the opposition. Stephen Curry, efficient. Very subtle game, but the assist numbers. 8 assists. 10 assists from Draymond. Chris Paul with 9 off the bench. 11 points for him. So, hell of a win for the Golden State Warriors last night. A win they desperately needed. If they wanted to have home court at the very least, they got it. Now, can't slip up these last 3. You got to go undefeated. The Lakers got 2 more. You got 3. You got T-Wolves. Check that. Trailblazers tomorrow. Then you got the Pelicans at home Friday. And then wrapping up the regular season at home against the horrible, putrid, disgustingly awful Utah Jazz that are trying to lose. So you're facing 2 lottery teams in Portland tomorrow, in Portland, and the Utah Jazz. And the one that's going to be the trickiest, you would think, is the Pelicans matchup. But the Warriors have played the Pelicans well. They have. Now I need to look at their head-to-head on the season. I'm going to do that right now because I felt like they haven't played each other in a minute. Yeah, back in January, okay. Pelicans won by 1. Oh, that's right. That was a blowout city. 141-105. How could I forget that one? That was in Chase Center too, wasn't it? Was that the one where they're getting booed? I want to say that was when they were getting booed, January 10th. And things have changed in a drastic way there. Now, I'm not saying they're going on a championship run yet, but there's at least hope. You could potentially have a first-round playoff series. And to have that, it would be a lot easier than playing 2 play-in games. It's just playing 1 play-in game. Now, they don't have the tiebreaker over Phoenix, and they do not have the tiebreaker over Sacramento. Sacramento split the season series with the Warriors, and then it goes to division record, and Sacramento is better than that. But you do have the all-important one over the Lakers, so at the very least, you would hope you have home court if they play, next Monday, Tuesday, whatever it is, at Chase Center. Because I know there was no Anthony Davis, and I know you shot the lights out in Los Angeles, so maybe those, cobwebs, those scars of not playing well in Los Angeles, specifically against the Lakers, have finally healed, and you can move past that. The mental hurdle is over. But just playing at home, especially for Pajemski, Trace Jackson Davis, Jonathan Kuminga, who came off the bench yesterday, didn't have his greatest game, but you know what? He's getting back into the groove of things. Kind of his first bad performance in a long time, at least shooting the ball. 2 of 8 on the night, only 8 points for Jonathan, but It's starting to get spicy. This is the fun part of the year. And maybe, just maybe, the Warriors have hope. 888-957-9570. Weigh in, Dubs fans. I want to hear from you today and all day long right here on your home for Golden State Warriors, 95.7 The Game. Hit us up on the Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570. Call or text. Also, hit us up on YouTube or Twitch, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe there. So here's where things stand currently. 1 through 5, T-Wolves, Nuggets, Thunder, Clippers, Mavericks. By the way, did you guys see that Clippers Suns score last night? It was like 30-4 with 2 minutes left to go in that quarter. The first quarter. Unbelievable. No Kawhi, no problem, I guess. Suns are in shambles, man. They've lost 2 in a row. Then at the 6th spot, you got the Pelicans. Game up on Phoenix, who is the 7th. Phoenix a game up on the Kings, who are the 8th. Kings now a half game over and have one ahead in the loss column over the Lakers and the Warriors. So, man, a lot to dissect here still in the next coming days, but it's exciting, isn't it? Like, I know the season has not been what Warriors fans have envisioned when they thought of, you know what, the dark clouds lifted, JP's gone, Chris Paul, but you know what? Maybe it'll be a net positive overall. We got the young guys emerging, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody. Maybe, just maybe, we can garner all that if Andrew Wiggins can be that number 2. Well, anything and everything has happened this season. Draymond Green getting indefinitely suspended, Wiggins missing some time again after last year, and that whole ordeal went down. Klay Thompson, his up and downs, his trials and tribulations when it comes to being a starter, being a bench player. Steph showing his age just a little bit. It's okay to say it. Showing his age just a little bit. Having to carry the load a lot on this team. And then you have Jonathan Kuminga being disgruntled with Steve Kerr's camp and the head coaching and playing. He doesn't think he's going to grow. Then he gets inserted into the starting lineup. He balls out. Then he gets hurt. Now he's off the bench. So there's just been so many layers upon layers this season. Just the fact that the Warriors are in this position to potentially go on a little bit of a run, I think speaks volumes to the rookies and the young guys staying ready. Because without those guys, the vets are not in the position that they are in. Now, the veterans get credit for the development of the rookies as well, specifically Chris Paul. But my hat's off to Pajemski, TJD, whose assignment was a little bit easier. I'm sure he was a little bit happier last night. He's like, oh, no Anthony Davis. Yeah, I'm chilling. And he was, not his most effective, but doing just enough in the paint there to be a difference maker. Pajemski coming off the bench. And by the way, and he was 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. Did you guys hear Chris Haynes last night on TNT trying to pronounce Pajemski? Real quick. This is great. Asking Draymond Green a question about Brandon.
That's right. Lastly, real quick, Brandon Pajemski, he's been on me saying I better vote on him to be first team all rookie.
I'm sorry, what was that, Chris?
That's right. Lastly, real quick, Brandon Pajemski, he's been on me saying I better vote on him to be first team all rookie.
Did I get a Bradley in there?
That's right. Lastly, real quick, Brandon Pajemski, he's been on
Bradley Pajemski?
Brandon Pajemski.
Oh my God. Do I still have my Clay pronunciation somewhere on the board? I'm going to try to find it because I have a Clay one where he's also trying to pronounce Pajemski. It just did not go well at all. I'll find it. I might call him Bradley from going on here on out. Not Bradley Beal. No, not Bradley Beal.
Brandon Pajemski.
Wait, is it AJ Pajemski or Brandon Pajemski?
Brandon Pajemski.
Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page here. Good morning to all of you. Just getting off work, getting ready for school. It's a hump day. Let's go. Where's my drop for my hump? I got a hump day drop, too. I got drops for everything, people. All right?
Happy hump day, people. Happy hump day.
There we go. Happy hump day. Drive safe out there. It's nice. It's been beautiful in the East Bay. I'm sure here in the city, too. It's like 72 degrees. Summer's going to be approaching here. Baseball's in the air. And Giants. Don't talk about that. 5-3 to the Nationals last night. Giants now 4-8 on the year. Kyle Harrison had a quality start. He did have a quality start. Until, he didn't. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be too hard on him. I'm not going to go all in on Farhan and say Bob Melvin was the wrong hire after 12 games. I refuse to do that. Let's see where things are at after and when the Warriors season ends. That's what I'm going to put it at. Bonte said yesterday at the end of April, I'm going to say end of Warriors run. Let's see where the Giants are. How about that? Is that fair? Now, maybe it's not because the Warriors season could be over next week. Potentially. We don't know. But it's still so early. But there are some concerns with this offense already. And maybe we were a little bit ambitious. Maybe I was a little bit ambitious saying this was a lock 90-win team. But you know what? You got to have a take sometimes. And I'm still sticking by it. I think if and when, and that's a big if and big when, the bats get hot for the Giants, I think it could be something special coupled with Snell and Webb and Harrison. Still have high hopes for Harrison. He was filthy in those first couple innings. 5 strikeouts within the first 6 batters. CJ Abrams, by the way, that bomb he had, you rarely see balls hit to that part of the field that deep. Right center? Sam and I were actually talking about that recently. Remember when Chad Pinder hit one that deep a couple of years ago in the pandemic? That's what it reminded me of. I was like, oh, do we got the juice balls back? This is CJ Abrams. He's a good player. But that's what it reminded me of. And also, my Kyle Harrison, Jesus Luzardo comp, not the worst one when it comes to giving up those meatballs. When they give up the bombs, they give up tanks, baby. But nonetheless, Giants take the L last night. They'll try to salvage the series today against the Washington Nationals. But all eyes on the Golden State Warriors currently, 888-957-9570. Oh, before we get off baseball, excuse me, I would be remiss if I didn't play my drop that I always play when the Oakland Athletics, yes, they're still the Oakland Athletics, soon to be Sacramento A's of Las Vegas. But they won, baby. You know what that means? There we go. Sammy, you still got Shea Langoliers on your squad? Fantasy? Oh. 3. Count them. 3 jacks last night for Shea Langoliers, catcher for your Oakland Athletics, as they get the win over the defending champs. Their first game against Tejas. 4-3. Look at the A's. Plucky. And don't look now, the A's half game better than the Giants. Relax, people. It's early. By the way, this Mason Miller kid, filthy. We're talking about Camilo Doval and Mason Miller potentially having the nastiest stuff in a given area when it comes to baseball. I'm trying to think of other closers like the Mets and the Yankees. They don't got anything like Camilo Doval and Mason Miller. Take some pride. It's the last time, I can enjoy Bay Area baseball in both leagues. And I'm going to try to enjoy it. I am. It's difficult. But I'll give the A's love when it's required on the field. Off the field, you guys know how I feel. All right. That's it. No more baseball. Back to the Warriors. 134-120 win over the Los Angeles Lakers. And Steve Kerr talking about the team making a million bajillion threes. They shot 63% from three-point land yesterday, 26 of 41. That is unbelievable. Which is why I was still kind of shocked that the game was close in the fourth quarter. I mean, that just is a credit to LeBron James. We were calling it the Le Flu game yesterday. Although, I called him the less super spreader if he's sick and he's using that chalk and throwing it everywhere. What are we doing? Come on. We're just in a pandemic, people. Show some respect. It includes you, LeBron. Coach, talking about the three-point ball last night for the Warriors.
That was the game, basically, because I didn't feel like we played that well, but we made, a million threes. And so the ball was going in, but I didn't think we were sharp. A lot of possessions where we just, weren't quite locked in, or our passing was off target and we were a little disjointed, but the ball kept going on. I mean, Draymond going 5 for 5 in a half, you don't see that often, but everybody got going, and to shoot 63% from three, that's crazy.
It is crazy. And the only reason, again, why the score even looked that close, because you shoot 63%, damn near doubling what the Lakers shot from the field from beyond the arc. Lakers 34.3%, 12 of 35 overall. It's because of the turnovers. That was it. I mean, that's just always going to be a thing with the Warriors, the turnover battle. Can you limit that? I mean, historically, no. But when you have the firepower, it shouldn't matter. That was kind of like a vintage Warriors performance last night. Like Draymond Green was getting involved offensively. Saw Shasky in the thread, and Bonta and Shasky will have plenty of thoughts on this game coming up at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock, the morning roast. They got Anthony Slater. They got Dave Fleming. And Flem's a little early this week. He's usually a Thursday guest, but Flem's doing... Yeah, you know where he is this week. Come on. Thank you. It was just a little tease. Don't worry. I'm not sticking on there. But Dave Fleming, get his Masters thoughts and Giants thoughts as well with Bonta and Shasky today. So appointment radio always with Anthony Slater, Dave Fleming, two of the best in the business here in the Bay Area when it comes to covering and talking about the Giants and the Warriors respectively. So the Warriors' historic shooting night, and it reminded me and Shasky of, the offense and this team offense when Draymond Green is actively trying to score. It changes everything. When he is aggressive and he has the three ball going, because that is a shot he has had in his career. He's kind of just given up on it at times, which is like, why do that? This isn't the 1980s and 90s. Stick with your three-point shot. We got big men. We got aliens named Victor Wembanyama doing it. What's your excuse? None. Shoot the three ball. Be aggressive. Because if you make a couple like you did last night, hell, you start off 5 for 5. The other team's just shaking their head. Like, oh, we got Clay and Steph to deal with. By the way, Klay Thompson. Think he's shaking off those Los Angeles jitters the last 2 games. 27 points for Clay, 5 of 10 from beyond the arc. He was en fuego. So 27 for him, 23 for Steph, 15 for Dre, 17 for Wiggins. Only starter not in double figures was Trace Jackson Davis. But you know what? That's fine, Trace. You're chilling. Again, no AD, no problem for the Golden State Warriors as they overcame Le Flou, as LeBron James did. It's still incredible because he's 39 years old and he's not feeling his tummy hurts. 33 points, 11 boards, 14 to 22 overall. He's just insane. Austin Reeves having a good game. D'Angelo Russell, thought the Warriors did a good job on him. Not letting him get active offensively. His shot wasn't falling. Only 14 points, I should say, for him. Did get to the line 6 times, 6-6 there. But overall, you look at the free throw discrepancies, it was pretty even. I know all the complaining about the refs when it goes to the Lakers, all that sort of stuff. 20 of 24 for the Lakers and 14 of 21 for the Warriors. Warriors just need to make their shots, and it could have been a worse score on the scoreboard, the final tally, if you will. More after the game from head coach. If it was part of the game plan to just shoot the three ball like that.
We always try to shoot the lights out. Doesn't always happen, but we had plenty of looks. They were playing off of Draymond, and so he took the ones that were there, and that helped us get off to a great start.
That is a funny question. Is it in your game plan to shoot the ball well from three-point land? Yes. Like that's the name of the game. Like, do you want to score touchdowns? Is that in your game plan? Yeah. No, we're settling for the field goal. Now we're getting to Jake Moody's range, and we're fine there. Jake Moody, by the way. That guy. And I'm talking about Jake Moody. Actually, I'm talking about Dante Whitner and what he had to say about the 49ers guys. I'm going to get to that in a second. The excuses now coming from the Super Bowl. And you're saying, Spadoni, why are we talking about the Niners after that Warriors win? Well, next segment, it's a larger thing. And I saw it with Warriors fans last year. I see it with every fan base. The excuses after a brutal loss. And that's why I brought up the free throw discrepancy. Because when it's going well, it's going well. When it's not going in your favor, it's not going in your favor. It is what it is. But the excuses I heard from the hitman himself, Dante Whitner, and the clapback a certain Chiefs player had at Dante Whitner, we'll get into that next segment. But before that, 888-957-9570. My main man, top 5 in my cookie rankings, the power rankings, Oreo Cookie out in Oaktown. What's going on, Oreo? You're on the pregame show.
Hey, what's going on, man? Just another lovely morning,
It's gorgeous out there. It's nice. It's nice.
Yes, yeah, exactly, man. I just wanted to give a shout out to the Dubs last night. It didn't matter if AD played or not. Nobody was going to beat us the way we were shooting yesterday. I like Wiggins' attitude. I like his aggressiveness, whether it goes in or not. I just like that he's involved and his head is in the game. And watch out, man.
Watch out for the Dubs. You think they're going to go on a run here, Oreo?
Oh, yeah, brother, man. Like I said before, I want to see a Western Conference Finals. I think we could do it. We're going to shock some people. But the Warriors fans, they shouldn't be shocked anymore. We got that championship caliber, baby.
There you go. That's Oreo Cookie. Again, top 5 in my power rankings of cookies. In no particular order, since you guys are wondering, and I know all of you at 888-957-9570, while my cookie power rankings, we'll go Oreo at the 5. At 4, I'm going Schnickerdoodle. Yeah. I'll go Schnickerdoodle there. At the 3 spot, now this is controversial. Not a lot of people like this cookie, and I think it gets an unfair rap. And people are going to be coming down my road, and that's fine. Oatmeal raisin. Love me an oatmeal raisin cookie. Love it. Number 2 is the peanut butter with the Hershey Kiss inside it. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those are all time. And number 1, come on. Was I or was I not born in the United States of America? I was. It's a chocolate chip cookie. Always. Always has been, always will be the GOAT of GOAT. Whether it's soft, whether it's a little crunchy, I don't give a damn. One of those warm bad boys out of the oven with a glass of whole milk. Oh, I'm hungry now. Give it to me. So those are my top 5 cookie power rankings. If you think you have a better one, 888-957-9570, in honor of my caller of the year thus far, Oreo Cookie out in Oakland. Big win last night for his Dubs and for yours, 134-120 over the Los Angeles Lakers. Historic shooting night for the Dubs. And did last night give any of you a glimpse, give you any glimmer of hope that this team could go on a legitimate run? And I'm saying what Oreo's Cookie said. Can they go to the Western Conference Finals? Can they just get there? Because it does feel like this would be the hardest path they've ever had to have, right? Like during the championship era. Like not talking about before they won a championship with the Spurs and stuff like that. No. During their championship era, I think this is the hardest path in the Western Conference the Warriors will have to deal with. When you just look at top to bottom in the Western Conference, the youth and the talent level is off the charts. And then you have teams that maybe I'm sleeping on, but the majority aren't, like the Clippers. Like that was impressive what they did last night without Kawhi. I know the Suns are kind of in a free fall mode. Excuse me, but they dropped 30 and only gave up 4 points with about 2 minutes to go in that first quarter. Like, that's incredible. Do you know how awful you have to be offensively, but also at the same time, you have to be playing some decent defense, I would assume. You have Kevin Durant on that team, Devin Booker, all these. 4 points Like, that's embarrassing for Phoenix, but also at the same time, looking at Clippers like, okay, Paul George, okay. If it's a Zubac, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, I see you. And then the Dallas Mavericks, they're 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 4 in a row. They're en fuego. Luka and Kyrie, everyone, they're the darlings right now. People are looking at a team that can knock off the Nuggets, who, by the way, are 7-3 in their last 10, 1-2 in a row. Every single team right now, 1 through 5, is on a winning streak. Now, you can say 2 games, that's technically a winning streak. So the Warriors, if and when they make the first round, they're going to be playing a team that's hot, that has no fear, and that is going to be either the Thunder, Nuggets, or Timberwolves. And who would you prefer out of all those? You'd probably prefer not to play the Nuggets. But you know what? I said it before, and I'll say it again. And Shasky's with me here. Give me the Nuggets in round 1 rather than in round 3. If you could take care of business in round 1 against the defending champs, and taking care of business, I'm acting like it's going to be the easiest thing ever you're going to sweep. It's not going to be that easy. You're going up against who's going to be the 3-time MVP, Nikola Jokic. Should be 4 in a row for keeping it a buck, but that's a tangent I'll have for another day. How's Jamal Murray doing? Is he healthy? What's going on there? Give me them in round 1, and let's see how it shakes out everywhere else. Because you cut the head off Medusa, hey, everything becomes clear in the West. I don't fear the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who, by the way, actually, Karl Anthony Towns, is he coming back? How does that change things? That's an interesting one. Now, maybe should we be talking about Minnesota being the favorites in the West if Karl Anthony Towns is back? Now, I know it's blasphemous. Vegas, they love the Nuggets, love the Celtics. I get that. But if Karl Anthony Towns comes back, and this team's been 8-2 without him in their last 10, they're adding that. And now it's not as easy as that, just adding a player. There is a ebb and flow when it comes to rotations. We know that with the Golden State Warriors. It is tricky. Our guy Finchy, head coach, Chris Finch out in Minnesota, has done a hell of a job this year. I don't think he's going to win Coach of the Year, but he should be in strong consideration for it. But bringing Karl Anthony Towns back into that rotation with Anthony Edwards, my future face of the NBA, Conley, Gobert, got Naz Reid in. Watch out, man. That's all I'm saying. For the Warriors right now, what say you? 888-957-9570. I've blown through the break again. It's just what I do on 95.7 The Game.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school.
Kaczynski.
Thank you, Chris Haynes and Kevin Daniel. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni rolls on. 95.7 The Game. We're talking Dubs win over the Los Angeles Lakers. 134-120. The Warriors shot, and this is the first team ever, according to sources, they're the first team in NBA history to make 20 or more threes at a 60%.
25.
Oh, sorry, 25. I was going to say 20 or more. 25 or more threes, and they made 26 at an over 60% clip. That's incredible. 26 of 41 overall, 63.4% from beyond the arc. That's historic. That's what we have come to expect from the Golden State Warriors. In a season in which it hasn't gone according to plan, you still get moments in games like that. And I know there is no Anthony Davis, but that have got to have felt great because LeBron James suited up. And it's always nice to beat LeBron James, especially in Los Angeles. Send all the celebrities home packing, all crying, all upset, all of that. And to have the core three ball out, Steph, Clay, and Dre, all of them combining for 65 points, the three of them. That's what you want. Now, it's not going to happen all the time. Draymond, I would assume, is not going to start off another game 5 for 5 the rest of his career. I'm just going to lock that in, actually. I don't think he does that ever again. But you know what? Who cares? He did it last night in the game they needed to have, the game they wanted to have, although some people at the station didn't think they needed it. But now, you look at the Western Conference, and you got the Warriors and the Lakers. And right now, there's a half-game lead from the Lakers over the Warriors, but Warriors, I believe, will catch them, and I don't think they're going to look back. If the Warriors go 3-0 the rest of the way, they will at the very least. If they take care of their business, they're going to have the 9th spot, and then the Lakers would have to come and save them in the play-in game if that were to happen. Then you got the Kings, then you got the Suns, who, again, Kings and Suns both have the tiebreaker over the Warriors. So, very interested to see how everything shakes out here in the next couple games. Again, the Warriors schedule, you got Blazers, Pelicans, Jazz. You got the Kings schedule up. Kings taking on the New Orleans Pelicans tomorrow. Huge implications there, obviously. Then the Phoenix Suns, massive implications there. That's going to be on the back end of a back-to-back in Sac. And then the Blazers fighting for Chauncey on Sunday. Suns have the Clippers, so it was a little LA went home and home. Got destroyed yesterday. Hey, the final score did not do that first quarter justice. 105-92 was the final of the Clippers over the Suns. They were up 30 points in the first quarter. So the fact that they scratched and clawed that much was impressive. Frank Vogel, NBA champion. So Suns Clippers, Suns Kings, and then Suns T-Wolves, they have the hardest remaining schedule. And could that open things up for the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers? They have 2 more games left. Friday against Memphis and then Sunday against the New Orleans Pelicans. So a lot still to happen. And will AD Anthony Davis be there? Late scratch yesterday, headache and nausea. And he was out. And listen, we like to make fun and poke fun at street clothes AD. You know, the guy doesn't show up. He's made of glass. He's Mr. Glass from Unbreakable. All that sort of stuff. We get it. It's fun. But in a game of that magnitude for the Lakers, and I do believe they were trying to win, and they needed to win that game. I actually don't believe that they were punting on that game. LeBron showed up. If they were truly punting, they wouldn't even put LeBron in that game because he had flu-like symptoms. Just keep him out. Doesn't matter. But they wanted to win that game because they wanted to assure themselves of at least home court advantage in that 9-10 situation. And now they're playing with fire. and you couldn't suit up because your tummy hurt? Because you got a headache? Seriously? In the most important game of the year? My tum-tum hurts? I can't go? Now, I'm only taking this at face value because that's all we know. All we know is he was out because headache and nausea. So I'm taking that at face value. The real reason he might be out is because he might be concussed. He might be concussed. He took a forearm to the head on Sunday. And what are concussion-like symptoms? Oh, I don't know. Headache and nausea. But I don't think they want to put him in the protocol. Because what would that mean? Oh, he could miss the play-in game if he's still in the concussion protocol. So they're leaving their options open. I remember last year in the playoffs against the Warriors. Remember when AD took that elbow to the dome or whatever, and everyone thought he should miss the series and go into the concussion protocol, and he went in it, and he didn't need to, and he was clear, all that? This is all a bunch ado about nothing. Like, that signals to me headache and nausea after you take a blow to the head. This wasn't just a regular poke and eye. He did take a shot to the head. Like, no protocol at the very least. You're not going to check him out for it. Now, that's what the doctors are paid to do. I'm sure they said they did other due diligence. I'm just saying, a couple days later, after that Sunday blow to the head and you're having headache and nausea, and it's not flu related, just a little suspicious to me. But I'm taking it at face value, and him missing that game was a disgrace. My interest level in that game as a casual plummeted dramatically. The Warriors are winning that game easily. And that was the thing I said in my final thoughts yesterday on the morning roast. Can I just get a game where these guys are at like full health? No one's compromised? Shout out Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises. Like, come on. LeBron's out there, 39 years old. Steph's an old man. Like, AD, you couldn't suit up? Really? Really? Yeah. I'm not mad. I'm going to go parent here. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. 888-957-9570. I'm also disappointed in Dante Whitner with his trash-ass take. We'll discuss that on the other side. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Unraveling life's mysteries. At Stanford Medicine,
That's the spot. Big stretch, everyone. 5:46 a.m. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Needed it. You know, last night, it looked a lot like the Warriors were just stretching out there and hanging out, doing what they do. 134-120. They shot 63. Again, it's just 63% from beyond the arc. A historic night. No team has shot it better with and while making 25 or more three-pointers. Like, that's 63.4%. It's historic. It is. And it's fitting for the Warriors to do that because they are the greatest shooting team in the history of the NBA, the Splash Bros. And if Draymond Green's getting involved, well, it's night, see you later. And that's what it was for the Los Angeles Lakers last night. LeBron in, AD out, but no problem for the Golden State Warriors as they get the job done and creeping closer. Can they get to that 7th or 8th spot? Not have to worry about 2 play-in games potentially. Well, you'd like to have it wrapped up in one, but if you have the fallback, if you lose that one to play another one, it doesn't hurt. Now the league, and Sammy and I are just talking about this, they're hoping that the Warriors or the Lakers, but the Warriors in this case, if they have the tiebreaker, otherwise move up so that both of those teams are out of playing each other in that 9-10 spot. Because you want the Lakers and you want the Warriors in that first round. You want the eyeballs that Stephen Curry and LeBron James and both of those franchises bring. So whether it's Lakers, Nuggets in a rematch or Lakers, T-Wolves or Warriors, Nuggets, Warriors, T-Wolves, Thunder, whatever, that is what they are hoping for. Kings, God love you, kick rocks. We don't care about your viewership. You ain't going to bring what the Lakers and Golden State Warriors are going to bring. All right? Pelicans, Suns, maybe the Suns, Kevin Durant. I don't know how much of a draw he is anymore. I don't. I know Steph and LeBron are still doing numbers. That is a fact. Speaking of doing numbers, the results came in yesterday. The women's national championship game on the basketball side in college outrated the men's tourney in that championship. So South Carolina v. Iowa, more eyeballs on that than UConn versus Purdue. Now, people are saying UConn Purdue on TBS. It wasn't on, CBS. Obviously, ABC took Iowa, South Carolina. So more eyeballs and maybe more households have ABCs, either file that. Oh, that may be true. I just also think there was just more storylines and it was going to be a better matchup. Like you, God, we were trying to sell Zach Edey like he's just some, no one cared. No one cared. Purdue, I don't care about you as a basketball program. And most of the nation doesn't either. UConn, they're going to be the villains now. We do care. Danny Hurley, he's going to be the next Coach K. We're all going to love to hate that guy. I just kind of love him. It's fun. It's fiery. Gets after you. Plays up to the crowd. It's my kind of coach. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all of you lovely people. Just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school. Good morning to the Xfinity mobile text line. 888-957-9570. 415. Ooh, hot take. I like a hot take. LeBron is compared to Jordan as the best ever, and Steph has undoubtedly gotten the better of LeBron in the postseason/finals in the regular season. How was Steph even debated to be in the top 5 ever and more often than not put in a debate in top 10? He's top 5 100% in my book. It goes Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Steph. If Steph gets another ring, he's number 3 on that list, minimum. Okay. Well, there's a lot there. First of all, I love that you put Kobe in the top 5. He's in my top 5. Not a very popular pick, but I appreciate you. You know Ball 415. It's my guy. LeBron and Jordan, it's never going to be a perfect argument. It's going to be who had the best career versus who was the better player. If you want to go career and longevity, I'm going LeBron. If you want to just go who was the better all-around player, it's Michael Jordan. Guy was elite defensive. He was a DPOY. No one had his killer instinct. The only guy that came close was Kobe, and he was just a slightly lesser version of Mike. He was like a carbon copy, but just a little bit less, which is still saying a lot because Kobe, again, in your top 5, he's incredible. Now, a lot of people actually in this area have Steph in their top 5 because of how he's changed the game. And these arguments is always pits guys against each other. You have to bump someone off. Like you didn't even include, Kareem in your top 5, who I think gets slept on dramatically in this conversation. I think we forget Kareem was just recently the all-time leading scorer in the history of the NBA. Guy's got a bajillion MVPs, a bajillion titles, did it as the best player on 2 franchises. And I do think that we sleep on LeBron doing that. He was the finals MVP on not 1, not 2, but 3 different franchises. I think that means something. I think that matters. I also think it matters that Steph was with one whole team. Kobe was with one whole team. Stuff like that matters. Are we putting stuff already over Magic Johnson, who does have 5 rings? Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, there's so many aspects to this, and it always pits player against player, person against person. It's fun. I get it. Barstool, barbershop talk. You gotta put I get it. Am I putting Steph over LeBron right now if he wins another title? I don't know. How does it look? We'll see. I'll tell you what. If the Warriors win a title this season, and I'm assuming Steph Curry has to be a major part of that because they're not winning without Steph. Yeah, he's top 5. He's top 5. I don't even, Tim Duncan, another one, who has 5 rings. That means he's tied Tim and he's tied Kobe. That's a top 5 player. Are you putting him ahead of Magic Johnson? Probably. But again, you look at Magic Johnson's career. Guy won, Rookie of the Year and Finals MVP. That just doesn't happen. You come into the league and just dominate. He did that. It took Steph a little while. Health, other things. So it's always a fun conversation, as Draymond Green would say.
It's always fun game.
Thank you. Draymond started the game off 5 for 5 from beyond the arc, finished 5 of 7, 15 points for him. Historic night for the Golden State Warriors, shooting 888-957-9570 to weigh in there. Real quick, before we hand it off to Bonta and Shasky, I wanted to get to this as some breaking news happened a little bit. Nothing pertaining to the Bay Area sports, but figured this is a sports station. We got to, talk about the breaking news that happens in the sports world. And then the NFL, Pro Bowl linebacker Josh Allen of the Jacksonville Jaguars reached a 5-year, $150 million contract that includes $88 million guaranteed. Sources tell Adam Schefter and ESPN. So Josh Allen, after a Jaguars franchise record 17.5 sacks last season. Wow. I know Jags didn't make the playoffs, so I think that's why I slept on it. 17.5 sacks last year for Josh Allen. That guy's incredible. Better season than the other Josh Allen. Say that. So, highest paid defensive players in the NFL on a per year basis. Nick Bosa, $34 million a year. Chris Jones, who we'll get to in a second, $31.75 million per year. And now Josh Allen, $30 million per year. It's good money if you can find it. It's good. Must be nice. All right. Dante Whitner, Up and Adams podcast. Kay Adams does a hell of a job. Love me some Kay Adams. She does great with all these guests. It's very personable. Gets these guys to open up. Specifically Deebo Samuel. He was a weekly last year. He's great. But Dante Whitner, obviously the hitman, former Pro Bowler with the San Francisco 49ers on those Harbaugh teams. The hitman just would knock the soul out of people. Not the biggest guy, but my God, he would just lay the wood. Fun player to watch. On with Up and Adams podcast. And this is what he had to say about the 49ers losing the Super Bowl.
And when we think about the Super Bowl as well, I think that the 49ers played against the refs as well, guys. I think that when we look at that film and you see bear hugs on those defensive ends, right?
Wow.
And you really see it in blatant moments in the game. The 49ers played against Taylor Swift, the refs, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dante.
All 3.
Wow. The refs and Taylor Swift? I mean, and the Chiefs? That's great. I mean, I'm surprised the game went into overtime. It was so close, and he had so many opportunities to close the game out. There was a 4th and 1. If you just stop him there, the game's over. But let's blame the refs, not your inability to get Patrick Mahomes down on a 4th and 1. And your highest paid player in defensively in the history of the NFL, Nick Bosa, not being able to bring him down. But let's blame the refs. Let's blame the refs for the coaching staff not knowing the overtime rules and just getting everyone up to speed right before kickoff happens. And the opposing sideline laughing at you. So Chris Jones saw that tweet, quote tweeted it, and this has now since been deleted on X. But Chris Jones, who was a monster in that Super Bowl and the Super Bowl back in 2020 against the San Francisco 49ers, in which the Chiefs won that one as well. Chris Jones, quote tweet, tend to make excuses for your failures. Shut up. That was Chris Jones. Now deleted. But you know what? He won the game. And I kind of agree. Stop making excuses. Just accept the fact that the Chiefs were a better team and they had one of, if not the greatest quarterback in the history of the game on their team, and you didn't. Them the break sometimes. Sorry. It's tough. Get over it. I hate, as a fan, when my fan base continues to go back, because it makes us all look weak, right? When you blame something, it makes us all look... If it was a singular play that changed the outcome, I understand. Like a tuck rule type of play where you've never even heard of that. Like, what the hell is that? What? Then it feels like the league's out to get you kind of a thing. Like the blatant one with the Rams versus the Saints. There was clear defensive pass interference in the NFC Championship game at the Superdome. They didn't call it. And that, you know what? It was a bad look. You can look to that, sure. But then again, if it all comes down to one singular play, and sometimes it does, I'm going to that 4th and 1 where there was no penalty. If you stop them, you win the game. And he couldn't do that. Patrick Mahomes took the ball, ran it, and he used his legs in that way he runs. He runs like he's running around Legos on like the carpet that he doesn't want to step on. Like he's athletic, but not at the same time, if that makes sense. So, good on Chris Jones for clapping back, even though he deleted it. I agree. 888-957-9570. The Morning Roast, they're up next. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky. They got Dave Fleming, voice of the San Francisco Giants, and our 95.7 The Game Giants insider. And Anthony Slater covers The Athletic, and he's our 95.7 The Game Warriors insider. Doing a hell of a job. And we love Anthony. He's a mashed potatoes guy. Does not like Kirk Cousins. And he's a Miami Dolphins fan. So there you go. Morning Roast. Next. Have a good morning, everyone.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app.